60 Minutes Rewind.
You're about to see for the first time secrets of the Nazi Holocaust that have been hidden away for more than 60 years. We're not talking about a missing filing cabinet. We're talking about thousands of filing cabinets holding 50 million pages. It's Hitler's secret archive. The Nazis were famous for record keeping, but what we found ran from the bizarre to the horrifying. This Holocaust history was discovered by the Allies in dozens of concentration camps as Germany fell in the spring of 1945. The documents were taken to a town in the middle of Germany called Bad Arolsen, where they were sorted, filed, and locked away, never to be seen by the public until now. The storerooms are immense, 16 miles of shelves holding the stories of 17 million victims. Not only Jews, but slave laborers, political prisoners, and homosexuals. To open the files is to see the Holocaust staring back like it was yesterday. Strange pink Gestapo arrest warrants as lethal as a death sentence. Jewelry lost as freedom ended at the gates of an extermination camp. Time stopped here in 1945. We walked through the evidence with Chief Archivist Udo Joost. He showed us this list of 1,000 prisoners saved by a factory owner who told the Nazis he needed the prisoners' labor. This is Oskar Schindler's list, made famous by the Steven Spielberg movie.
Here are the 700 men and the 300 women whose names were on Schindler's list.
Esther Friedman, Rosa Friedrich, Raina Ferber, the people of Schindler's List. We also found the file of Frank, Anneliese Marie, better known as Anne Frank. It's her paper trail from Amsterdam to Bergen-Belsen, where she died at the age of 15. But most of the names here are unknown. Totenbuch means death book, and just look at the names of the executed. Crowded onto pages, single-spaced. It must have been tiring just to write this, let alone kill them all.
Here we see the cause of death, executed, and you can see every 2 minutes they shot one prisoner.
So they shot a prisoner every 2 minutes for a little over an hour and a half.
Yes, now look at the date. It's the 20th of April. That was Adolf Hitler's birthday. And this was a birthday present, a gift for the Führer.
That's the Bureaucracy des Teufels.
That's the bureaucracy of the devil.
The devil is in the details, the smallest details. We were amazed to see that the Nazis were keeping records of head lice.
Läusekontrollkarten.
Lice control.
Sie sehen hier.
You can see the names and numbers of each prisoner and the amount of lice that were found.
The Nazis couldn't have disease spreading among slave laborers.
Das war ein Perfektionist.
You can see he was a perfectionist. He even put down the size of the lice. Large, small, or medium-sized lice.
Paul Shapiro helped pry open the archive. He's director of Holocaust Studies at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. I'm curious, why did the Nazis keep all these records? If they were going to murder these people anyway, why keep paperwork?
Because they wanted to show they were getting the job done. So in terms of people whose destiny was to be murdered, recording how well that was being done was very important.
And those records make up the largest Holocaust archive anywhere. Run by the Red Cross, the International Tracing Service, as it's known, was set up after the war to trace lost family members. Survivors could write for information, but there was a backlog of 400,000 unanswered letters, and neither survivors nor scholars got past the lobby. What was the stated reason for keeping these documents out of the public eye for more than 60 years?
So a respect for the privacy of individuals was the most often cited reason. On the one hand, you had governments stating we're protecting people's privacy. And on the other hand, you had those very people saying, no, we want the material to be open.
When Germany, last spring, became the last of 11 countries to agree, they began the process of opening the archive. It'll take about a year. But we brought these men to Bad Arolsen for an advanced look. Walter Feiden, Mickey Schwartz, and Jack Rosenthal are the first Holocaust survivors ever in the archive. Schwartz of San Diego was 14 when he watched his parents herded to the gas chambers at Auschwitz, and then later was forced to sign himself in at Buchenwald.
Can I touch it?
Please, yes, absolutely. In a sense, it's yours.
Thank you. It's Nicholas Schwartz. That's my writing.
We asked the Red Cross to find all the documents for our 3 survivors. There were plenty of surprises, including a mysterious reprieve. This is a transport list for prisoners leaving Buchenwald and going to a camp called Dora.
Yes.
Do you know what Dora was?
Yes. Some sort of a fabrication of armament.
The arms fabricated at Dora were the V-1 and V-2 rockets that rained on London. And the story of that place is hardly anybody got out of there alive. Look at your name. It's on the transport list to go there. And somebody's drawn a line straight through the middle of it. They took you off the list. Did you know until this moment that you were headed to Dora?
No. Never. Never, never, never. Wow.
Schwartz had no idea why he was taken off the list. Of 50 people on the page, he was one of only 2 with a lifeline straight through his name.
I'm sort of, yes, I'm shaking. I'm scared right now.
Looking at that paper makes you scared right now.
Right now it makes me think back, and I'm living like there is this 14-year-old youngster, and they wanted to kill him. I don't know why. I did not ever do any harm to anybody. I think I should have a middle name. My middle name to be Mr. Lucky.
Walter Feiden of New York was 13 and a prisoner in a Nazi ghetto where his parents died. Later, he too signed into Buchenwald. Look down here. You signed it.
Yeah, you're right. I had better handwriting then than I have now, but yes.
Who was that boy who signed this card?
A young, actually teenager, who had gone through a great deal, become less trusting of what's told to him. Just a second. But glad to be alive still. You got to overcome it.
You have to overcome what?
The breaking down. Because that's one thing we never did in the camp. We never wanted to break down in front of some SS men and give him the pleasure of seeing us breaking down.
How do you stop yourself from breaking down?
I chew my lip. Have you noticed it? The lower lip.
And that's what you did in the camps?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And you have to swallow after that. That helps also.
This card carried his barracks number, 66, and that number alone opened his memory. How many people would have been in Block 66?
1,000.
1,000?
Oh, yeah. That's correct. That's correct. Oh my God, what just popped into my mind. Between each block, there was a trough that you could urinate in, and I can see it now. And the block manager or whatever felt that this person is just about dead. We put these near dead people into that trough that other people urinated into and let them die in those things. The brutality of it.
The story will continue after this.
Jack Rosenthal, also of New York, arrived with his family at Auschwitz the same month that the Nazis took these rarely seen photos. In a process like this, Jack and his uncle were sent to a barracks, while his mother and 5 sisters and brothers went straight to the gas chambers and the ovens.
But I remember that night, there was a little window in the barrack where we were. He told me, look out the window, what do you see? And I said, the sky is aflame, the sky is burning. And really, you saw the flames licking the sky. The stench was terrible, you smelled burning flesh.
His family burned that night. Yet, incredibly, we found the Nazis had bothered to create a form to keep track of Jack's mail at Buchenwald.
But as you can see, there are no records of letters. You didn't.
What do you mean? Who wrote me letters to Buchenwald?
Apparently no one.
You didn't. So who's going to send me mail? I got news for you. If I would have died in Buchenwald, nobody would ever shed a tear for me, because my whole family was wiped out before then. We were a family of 8, and I'm the sole survivor.
This is that survivor, Jack, as American soldiers found him in 1945.
On this personal effects card that you signed in Buchenwald, there's a number up here. It's A11832.
32. Yeah.
You seen that number before?
I see it every time. You want to see it?
Sure.
No problem.
There it is.
Yeah.
A11.
A11832. It's there. And when I'll die, they shouldn't cover up my arm. They should leave it like this. Because when the good Lord will see this, I hope he's going to put me front row center, because I deserve it.
These men were the first to see their documents, but the Bad Arolsen archive is being digitally scanned to be distributed to research centers. Other survivors may yet discover unknown history, still waiting to be written.
Are you glad you looked back at the documents?
Definitely. I feel like I learned about me, at least what happened. And specifically, what I'm glad about, for those people who said the Holocaust didn't happen, like the president of Iran, if they have any question about it, please come to Bad Arolsen and check it out for themselves.